A warm summer afternoon settled over the neighborhood as Malik rounded the corner with his bike, the chain squeaking softly. He glanced up the street, eyes narrowing at the gleaming black SUV idling by Mrs. Turner's porch. He felt a tug of unease in his chest before he strode forward, every step echoing off the pavement. Without warning, Malik lifted his voice clear and strong. "Don't ride with him. He is a thief." His words cracked like thunder. The driver's side window snapped down, revealing a clean-shaven man in a crisp white shirt, sunglasses perched on the yellow bridge of his nose. He frowned at Malik, as if the boy's warning was an annoyance. "I don't know what kid told you that, but I'm not a thief," the man said, voice calm but edged with impatience. Malik planted his feet apart, shin high. "You stole Mrs. Turner's purse last week. I saw you grab it when she dropped it by the mailbox." The man's expression flickered first annoyance, then a flicker of alarm, and he rolled the window back up. Malik watched as the tinted glass lid closed between them. He glanced around. No other witnesses, just a few windows open, curtains still. Somewhere, someone might have seen. He hopped onto his bike, gripping the handlebars. His heart pounded, adrenaline sharpening his senses. He needed proof. He needed to tell Mrs. Turner, but he had to be sure. He pedaled off, breath coming in quick bursts. Inside the house across the street, Mrs. Turner wrestled with a stubborn jar of pickles in the kitchen. She nearly dropped it when she heard yelling outside. Peering through the lace curtains, she froze at the sight of Malik standing his ground against the dark SUV. The jar slipped from her grasp and shattered on the linoleum. She rushed to the door, her slippers scuffing as she cracked it open. "What is happening out there?" she called, voice trembling. Malik wheeled around. "Mrs. Turner, that man by your porch, he took your purse last week. I saw him." Mrs. Turner's eyes widened. She clutched her robe. "My purse? Are you sure?" "I'm sure," he said. "He was driving off when you dropped it." "You didn't notice until later." The SUV's engine roared to life then, tires spinning as the vehicle lurched forward. Malik stepped back just in time to avoid the front bumper. Mrs. Turner's gasp twisted his stomach. The SUV tore down the street. Malik's voice trembled, but he called after it. "I'm telling the police." He grabbed his phone and dialed 911 with shaking fingers. Mrs. Turner stood on the doorstep, stunned and grateful, and shaken all at once. Officer Ramirez arrived. Within minutes, uniform crisp despite the heat. He raised an eyebrow at the half-shattered pickle jar, then looked at Malik, who recounted every detail. The officer jotted notes, nodded solemnly, and promised to circulate the description and license plate to patrol units. Mrs. Turner thanked Malik, eyes brimming. That evening, Malik lay on his bed, replaying the confrontation in his mind. He thought of the fear on Mrs. Turner's face, the anger in his own. He knew courage wasn't the absence of fear, it was acting despite it. He drifted into restless sleep, dreams peppered with twisted roads and dark SUVs. The next morning, sirens blared. Down the block, Malik bolted upright in bed. He threw on clothes and ran outside. A patrol car blocked the street. Two officers stood by a uniformed detective examining a crumpled piece of paper. "Malik," one officer called. "Come here, son." He trotted over, heart hammering. The detective held up a small leather wallet with a floral pattern Mrs. Turner's. Inside, her ID and a little cash, and a scrap of paper folded into four. "We found this dropped beside the alley, 2 blocks from here," the detective said. "It was stuffed under the wiper of this SUV during a traffic stop last night." The driver panicked when officers asked for registration. He took off on foot. "We chased him and arrested him 2 blocks over." Malik felt dizzy. "Is he the same man?" The detective nodded. Same description. He dropped the wallet. Looks like your tip helped crack the case. Mrs. Turner stepped forward, voice choked. Malik, I can't thank you enough. You saved me a lot of trouble, and maybe more. He shrugged awkwardly. I just did what was right. Word spread through the neighborhood about Malik's bravery. Neighbors stopped him on the sidewalk to pat his shoulder, thanking him for standing up when no one else did. It felt strange and wonderful, like sunlight bursting through clouds. A week later, school was back in session. As Malik walked to class, he noticed the SUV sitting in an impound lot across the street. Its license plate glinted in the sun, the same plate he'd memorized in his head. Relief washed over him. Inside history class, the teacher announced an assignment. Write about a time you overcame fear. Malik's pen hovered over the paper. He wrote about the day he shouted at that SUV, how his heart pounded, how fear turned to resolve, and how, because he spoke up, a kind neighbor's world stayed a little safer. After class, his friend Jasmine bumped his shoulder. Heard you're a hero now. Malik smiled. Just a kid who did what felt right. Jasmine grinned. Still, that's pretty legendary. That afternoon, Malik stopped by Mrs. Turner's porch. He brought her fresh cookies. She beamed at him, her porch swing rocking gently in the breeze. I'll always remember what you did, she said, offering him a cookie. You're a brave young man. He took a bite, warm and sweet. He felt proud, but more than anything, he felt grown in a way he hadn't before. Because courage didn't belong only to adults. It belonged to anyone who chose to stand up and speak the truth. As he pedaled home, the sun dipped low, painting the sky in streaks of pink and gold. The street was calm, the events of days past slipping into memory. But Malik knew he would never forget how loud a single voice could be, how it could stop a thief, steady a trembling neighbor, and spark hope where there was fear. And so, beneath the glowing sky, Malik rode on, heart steady, ready for whatever came next.